Back live in Melbourne, it was Hunter S. Thompson who invented gonzo journalism. Our Mary Carrillo has perfected bonzo journalism because when she gets to a place, she basically clowns around until she meets everyone in town and figures the place out. Melbourne has been no exception. Here is the latest installment of Mary in Melbourne.
We all adore Vegemite. It puts a rose in every tree.
For decades, Vegemite has been the quintessential breakfast food, and there is truly no American equivalent. This thick black spread's main ingredient is, wait for it, yeast extract. Everyone knows Vegemite in this country, but when the Aussie band Men at Work bought bread from a man in Brussels, this stuff became world famous.
He just smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich.
This vintage product is made exclusively in Melbourne, so we went to the Modern Factory to learn more about how Vegemite has achieved its iconic status. I'm going to meet with Rob Carmen. He's been working here for 45 years, and his pride in the product is evident. So, Rob, if I want to follow you into the inner workings of this place, what do I have to wear?
What we've got to wear is our quality procedure overcoats.
So that's clearly my size. Okay,
Yep.
very good. What else do I need to wear?
You need to wear a hairnet.
It's gonna be great. I am so ready now. Rob, what am I about to see?
You're going to see where it's the home of Vegemite, here at Bega Port, Melbourne, where we actually put Vegemite into the glass jar, label it, package it, and have it ready to go out to the consumers.
And it's going to be noisy in there?
It's going to be noisy, yes. We'll have earplugs to use, and yes, it will be noisy.
All right, let's go. Oh, wow.
That's the finished product that's coming out here.
For Aussie children, or yeast lovers, this is like going inside Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Except it's yeast, the extract left over from beer breweries. Is this a great country or what? It's still hot.
Still hot, that's correct, and smells good. Over here, Mary, we've got the finished product.
It's a 12-pack.
12-pack, that's it, 12-pack.
How many jars of Vegemite come out of here every day?
Every day we're talking about 280 per minute, based on over 12 months, 23 million.
23 million jars of Vegemite a year, and how many people live in Australia?
Oh, pretty close to 23 million, so we're talking about 1 jar a person, if that's the case.
I've got to say, I'd never developed a taste for this Aussie food, but then I met Chef Josie Strain, who showed me how many dishes could come out of a jar of Vegemite.
So you've got the sweet and the salty.
This is so good! So now I'm a happy little Vegemite, and I declare a toast to this national icon, this savory treat, this acquired taste, this beautiful yeast extract.
And Mary is with us, and oh look, there's the crew.
Everybody knows this song. It's the law in Australia to eat this stuff, and that ad is decades old. Everybody still knows this song. It's amazing. It's fabulous.
I knew our
Thank you.
crew was troubled before this, but now I'm thoroughly convinced that they are. Are you now? You obviously stopped at the company store on your way out. Are you sponsored now by the Vegemite people?
Ash Barty actually is sponsored by the Vegemite people, and you can see the Vegemite shirts that the Vol kids are wearing. I mean, this is a huge, huge product in this country. It's really not well known in the U.S. This is not your grandmother's peanut butter.
No.
It doesn't taste like that.
For people who've never had it, and because television cannot convey taste, what would you say that it does taste like?
It's bitter and it's salty. I mean, so you can't like lather up a piece of toast and go big on it.
But I noticed
But it's very. I'm in now. I'm totally
Are you?
sold.
I noticed that when you made your little recipe with Chef Josie, you put a very, very thin layer on. Is that the key?
That's how you're supposed to do it.
Well, so if that's
You're
the
a
way.
Philistine. You want to just,
No,
you wanna go,
I don't want to do that at all because if you've ever spent, yeah, that's not pleasant.
good.
But so if the idea is to put a very thin layer on,
Right.
why don't you just put none on and just cut out the middleman? Is what I'm asking, because that's the thinnest layer that's available. None.
You have such an unsophisticated palate.
Obviously.
And we got to work on it.
Why do you think it hasn't caught on in America?
Well, it hasn't really been sold that much there, but now it probably will. This story right here,
Is going to open it up.
this thing's going to go viral.
I think about yogurt, right? You know, you don't eat plain yogurt because plain yogurt's kind of gross too. So they put a bunch of fruit in it or chocolate,
You
and they
gotta
mix it up,
gin
and
it
then
up a little?
have they ever thought about like putting flavors in
They
it?
have tried. There are a couple of different varieties of
Yeah.
it, but this is your classic.
All right.
Don't try it.
I'm just going to not try it because that's the other option from trying it. Mary in Melbourne is going to be back later in the week with some Aussie slang.
You'll like that.
Will I? This is not a curler.
Our mommy say we're growing stronger every single week because we love our Vegemite.